Next on the Shield, one of Valpo's student organizations is recognized at the national level.
Plus, we have an update on a situation that would cause a potential shutdown of the South Shore train line.
And it's been a gorgeous day today, and I'll let you know how long these conditions will continue. But first, you're watching The Shield here on Channel 15.
Thank you for joining us on The Shield. I'm Will Haenni.
And I'm Maria Bruno.
Over fall break, members of the AMS National Weather Association chapter actually received an award, a national award in Oklahoma City. Now this award was a special one for the AMS NWA chapter, and it is their first national award.
A school that's so small and has so few people within the department can still have a big impact to be nationally recognized through an entire organization. So I think it says a lot about collaboration amongst us.
The Indiana Dunes National Lakeshore is turning 50 this upcoming year. We spoke with Parker Ranger Bruce Rowe about this celebration.
Celebrate our 50th anniversary at the National Lakeshore. We're going to do that with a whole series of programs throughout the year, and we're starting it off with a sweet program called the Cake Off, where you can come out, eat some cake, and start celebrating. Do everything from a bus tour to hiking over dunes.
This Thursday, November 5th, will kick off a celebration with the Cake Off. The event will feature cakes from different volunteer organizations that help out at the park. You can join in on the fun at the Dorothy Buell Memorial Visitor Center. For more information about upcoming events at the Dunes, visit dunesnationalpark.org.
We've seen a warmer than average start to November this week, so it might be a bit odd that we have the first frost in mind. When does it normally happen, you ask? Storm Shield meteorologist Elise Smith has the details.
Fall at Valparaiso University brings multiple weather patterns to our area, but one of the first signs of the approaching winter is frost.
Frost is deposition of water vapor in the form of ice onto a surface. So we get a lot of frost in the wintertime, fall and spring. We usually just get the overnight frost from radiative cooling. We can have harder freezes if we have a lot of water around and then the temperature drops really quickly, but usually it's just overnight frost from deposition.
When the temperature gets low enough at night, typically below freezing level, ice will form on the landscape, and that is frost.
It's more just kind of hit or miss when the cold snaps come. It doesn't necessarily tell us about the upcoming winter, in terms of how early the frost was or anything like that. It does affect the trees and plants, but mostly when you get a hard freeze, not necessarily the first kind of light frost. Well, we've had our first pretty good frost where it was fairly widespread, but it really wasn't that cold. But I'm sure we'll have a colder one coming up.
Reporting for VUTV, I'm Elise Smith.
We have an update to a story we brought you earlier this year here on The Shield. The U.S. Congress has passed the extension bill for the Positive Train Control, or PTC, allowing train lines like the South Shore to remain open. The deadline for the implementation of PTC has been extended to December of 2018. The South Shore said in a statement, quote, "The PTC extension will give the North Indiana Commuter Transit District the time necessary to safely and efficiently implement this important safety initiative."
And wrapping up local news, the President's office today announced the promotion of Susan Scroggins to Vice President for Finance and Administration. According to a campus-wide email, Ms. Scroggins, who served Valpo as Vice President for Administration, will also serve as the university's Treasurer and Chief Financial Officer. Well, Andrew, it has been a wonderful day, and I think he's outside with what we're seeing right now. Andrew?
That's right, Will. It has been a wonderful day today. A great day for some fall-like temperatures outside. Let's go ahead and take a look at a photo that was sent to us earlier today. This is taken right outside of the VUTV studios here. Again, you can see those clear skies that we've seen today, and coming up in the full forecast, I'll let you know how long that full skies are going to last around the area. But first, let's go ahead and take a look at our current temperatures right now here in Valpo. It is currently 64 degrees under crystal clear skies right now with the south-southwest wind at 6 miles per hour. Now let's go ahead and take a look at a wider view here at the regional temperatures now. Again, 64 in Valpo, 68 in Chicago, 63 in South Bend, 61 in Fort Wayne, and 63 down in Indianapolis. Now let's advance through your evening planner here and go hour by hour for you. At 6 p.m. we're going to be clear at 60 degrees. By 9 p.m. we're going to fall to 54 degrees under clear skies. And by midnight tonight, you're definitely going to want to grab the jacket or sweatshirt because we're going to drop down to 50 degrees at your midnight forecast. Coming up in the full 7-day forecast, I'm going to explain to you how long we can see these above average temperatures come and a chance of actually breaking a few records as we go throughout your 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Andrew. On the move.
Next on The Shield, U.S. armed forces are headed to Syria. We have reaction from politicians and military experts.
Plus, former House Speaker John Boehner has choice words for Ted Cruz's criticism of his budget deal. We have that and more when we come back.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it... If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
Welcome back to The Shield. The United States is ramping up involvement in Syria. For the first time, the U.S. will deploy troops to the region. CNN's Stacey Cohen has the story.
In Syria, the term war-torn is insufficient. The landscape is divided between areas seized by ISIS, Syrian government strongholds, and multiple rebel groups. Coalition and Russian bombing campaigns aimed at eradicating the advance of Islamic State fighters are ongoing. Now, in a dramatic policy shift, the White House announces plans to put boots on the ground in northern Syria to assist and advise Kurdish and Arab forces fighting ISIS.
We're going to be a lot better off in terms of intelligence having forces there, but on the other hand, it's extremely dangerous. And the question is, are we getting drawn into the Syrian quagmire?
A senior administration official says fewer than 50 special operations forces will be sent to Syria, but is this just the beginning?
It would not shock me if we ended up sending more in the future, but I think this is a very good step to have a much better feel for what's going on.
The White House insists this is not a step toward war.
The core of our military strategy inside of Syria is to build up the capacity of local forces to take the fight to ISIL on the ground in their own country.
A non-combat mission in one of the most dangerous places in the world. I'm Stacey Cohen.
A shooting at Winston-Salem State University leaves one person dead and another injured. Authorities say both victims are believed to be students. The incident happened early Sunday morning. The university was put on lockdown and a tweet was sent out asking students to shelter in place indoors. The school later gave the all clear. However, authorities are still searching for the suspect, who is not believed to be a current student. No other details were made available.
A trapeze artist is expected to recover after a 30-foot fall during a show in Philadelphia. He tumbled into the crowd while he was performing for Universal Circus Saturday. The circus says he was hospitalized with some lower back injury, but doctors expect him to be fine. No one else was injured. The circus says it's still trying to figure out how and what went wrong during the show.
Former House Speaker John Boehner is fighting criticism of a budget deal he cut with President Obama. Republican presidential candidate Senator Ted Cruz called it a slap in the face of conservatives, but Boehner fired back with a blunt word.
That's just total nonsense. This is we've got real entitlement reform in this agreement. We've got a big group of members who need more money for our national defense, and all the increases in spending are offset with spending reductions elsewhere in the government.
The deal bumps up federal spending by $80 billion over the next 2 years, and it raises the national debt limit through March of 2017. Boehner helped negotiate it before he left the House last Thursday.
Russian investigators arrive in Egypt one day after a devastating plane crash killed all 224 people on board. And as families mourn their loved ones, questions still remain as to what exactly caused the Russian aircraft to drop out of the sky.
As the bodies of Russian tourists killed in a passenger jet crash in Egypt's Sinai Peninsula start arriving back in St. Petersburg, Russia Sunday, families gather at the airport waiting for the remains of their loved ones to be returned.
Who died there?
My wife.
Where are you from?
St. Petersburg.
Was she on vacation there?
Yes, she went with the children and with a grandfather. The grandfather and the children returned earlier, and she stayed later.
Russian forensic experts arrived at the morgue in Cairo, where those remains are being identified. They're hoping to find out what caused Flight 9268 to suddenly drop off radar, only 23 minutes in the air, and crash in a remote region plagued by a violent Islamic insurgency. According to Russia's aviation committee, the airliner broke into pieces midair, and the fragments scattered around a large area. Russian media outlets also say the pilot reported technical problems and requested a landing at the nearest airport before the plane went missing, but Egyptian authorities disputed that claim. All 224 people aboard the Airbus, en route from the Egyptian resort of Sharm el-Sheikh to St. Petersburg, died in the crash early Saturday. Many of the passengers were reportedly returning from vacation. I'm Mary Maloney, reporting.
Sherwin-Williams has created a paint it says can kill bacteria. Germs are a major cause of healthcare-associated infections in hospitals. Paint Shield claims to kill over 99.9% of these bacteria after they've been on a painted surface for 2 hours. The product can be used on hard, non-porous ceilings, walls, doors, and trim, and is reported effective up to 4 years. The paint will come in 590 colors and will be available in the U.S. in 2016. The CDC says such a product would be great, but to be deemed effective, it must meet a lot of criteria and undergo testing in both lab and healthcare settings. The Republican National Convention has cut ties with NBC following the recent Republican presidential debate on CNBC.
In a rare move, Republican presidential candidates are meeting to discuss a new debate format. Mary Maloney has the story.
At the meeting of the political minds, candidates want to get rid of so-called gotcha questions. They will also discuss how their campaigns can get more control from the party. The move may have shaken up the Republican leadership. Perhaps as a show of power, the head of the RNC announced the party will suspend ties with NBC for a debate next year. For their part, the candidates say they will let the party know what they discuss at the meeting. I'm Mary Maloney.
And that does it for national news. Will these warm temperatures continue? Storm Shield meteorologist Andrew Whitmyer has your full weather forecast next.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
Well, good evening, Valparaiso. I'm Storm Shield meteorologist Andrew Whitmyer here with your full Storm Shield weather forecast. We have record-breaking temperatures that we could see as we get into midweek this week and also into Sunday. I'll have more on that in the 7-day forecast. We also take a look at your Election Day forecast at elections tomorrow, and we also do have cooler air and our rain chances returning on Friday. So our regional high temperatures across the region today: 72 in Valpo, 72 in Chicago, 71 over in Kankakee, and 71 up in South Bend. Let's go and take a look at current radar here. Again, you can just see some of those high stratus clouds around the area, but nothing in the form of rainfall right now. Your fall colors right now, we are still in peak season here in Valparaiso, but if you notice just up to our north in Wisconsin and Michigan, they're getting past peak, so there's still some time left for you to get those fall pictures outside right now before the leaves finally fall off. Now here's our first set of records that we could break. This is going to come Sunday, November 8th here. Our average first freeze is October 20th through the 30th. Now the latest first freeze fell on November 8th, 1985. That's almost 24 years ago from today's date. The closest we've been to freezing this year so far has been October 18th. And that was back on 33 degrees. And last year, our first freeze was October 19th back in 2014. So if we go all the way through November 8th without seeing temperatures get below 33 degrees here, we're going to shatter this record that's been standing for 24 years here in Valparaiso since records were kept. Future temperatures now, Monday evening, 52 degrees here in Valpo, 55 in Gary, and 57 up in Chicago. So you definitely want to grab the jacket or sweatshirt before you head out to classes or work tomorrow morning. Tuesday at 8 a.m., we're going to be around 53 degrees here in Valparaiso, lower 50s around much of the region, but it also will quickly warm up into the lower 70s tomorrow, and by tomorrow evening, by dinner time, we'll top out right around 61 degrees here in Valparaiso. Wednesday night into Wednesday morning, it's going to be the same story again. We're going to be in the lower to middle 50s around the area, so you're definitely going to want to bring the jacket and or sweatshirt before you head out the door. 56 here in Valpo, 57 in Wheatfield, and 57 up in South Bend. As we advance this through, Wednesday at 3 p.m. again, we're still going to be in the middle 70s for your afternoon high on Wednesday, and then we'll top out in the lower 60s for the overnight temperatures. Now your evening planner for this evening, again, 6 p.m. will drop down to 60 degrees. By 9 p.m., 54 degrees. It's going to be clear outside. And by midnight, clear again with 50 degrees being your low by midnight. Now your Election Day forecast here, this is for Tuesday. That's tomorrow. Polls are open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So here is your forecast for this right now. And again, it is going to shape out to be a nice warm one for the Election Day forecast. Mostly sunny skies, 72 degrees, winds south-southeast at 5 to 10 miles per hour. And your 7-day forecast, though, is looking pretty warm as we go throughout most of the day here. And your next 7-day forecast is looking pretty nice. Again, we have those Election Day forecasts coming up. It's going to be 72 degrees, middle 70s on Wednesday. That's a chance where we can break another record here. But then as we get into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, we will see temperatures returning back to normal thanks to that cold front returning on Friday. So we do have a lot of warmth coming up and a lot of records to keep track of this week.
Hey, I am so happy because of this weather, so I'm definitely not complaining, Andrew. Thanks, Andrew. Coming up after the break, Jordan Morandini has an update on your Crusader athletics from the past week. Stay with us.
Good morning, Valparaiso University. What's a better way to start your day than with a new jam? And WVUR has just what you need.
But if you close your eyes, does it almost feel like nothing changed at all? And if you close your eyes, does it...
If dying young won't change your mind, baby, right.
Broadcasting sports, news, weather, and music on air, online, and on campus. WVUR is my jam.
Thank you for sticking with us on The Shield. I'm Jordan Morandini. There were a couple of very important games this past week for Crusader sports, but none were more important than the women's soccer game as they hosted Cleveland State. A spot in the Horizon League tournament was on the line on a beautiful night at Brown Field. The Crusaders dominated time of possession in this game from the beginning, outshooting Cleveland State 28-9. Valpo was out without their starting goalie, Sydney Galvez-Daly, so freshman Drew Moulton was asked to fill the void. She answered the call, putting together a beautiful performance, posting her first career shutout. This was a tie game all the way until the 101st minute, when Shelby Oschlager found the back of the net, sending the Crusaders to the Horizon League tournament. With a strong incoming freshman class, the women's basketball team was set to open up their season this past weekend with an exhibition game against Purdue Cal. A strong team effort was the key to the Crusaders' 94-78 win over the Peregrines. 5 different players were in double digits scoring-wise, led by star sophomore Jasmine Walker. Walker had 19, and freshmen Meredith Hamlet and Hannah Schaub pitched in 18 and 15 respectively in the win. The Crusaders were extremely efficient offensively, shooting 49% from the floor. Valpo has less than 2 weeks before their season opens at Butler on November 13th. The men's soccer team had a pair of Horizon League games this week against UIC and Oakland. UIC snuck one by Nico Campbell in just the 8th minute, and the Crusaders could not respond, losing the match 1-0. Looking to bounce back, Valpo struck first against Oakland when Jacob Keck scored in the 20th minute. However, Oakland answered with a pair of goals and defeated the Crusaders 2-1. Valpo will be battling for its spot in the Horizon League tournament when they host Green Bay this Friday. The volleyball team had their strongest performance of the season with a 3-0 sweep over Oakland on the road. Allison Ketchum led the way for the Crusaders with 14 kills and 6 digs. Star Emily Campbell put together a strong performance as well with 13 kills in the win. The Crusaders will look to continue their strong conference play this Friday on the road at Green Bay. For more on all of your Valpo Athletics news, visit valpoathletics.com.
We'll be right back with a final look at your weather forecast.
On a campus plagued with terrible weather, Valpo students suffer from boredom with no motivation to leave their room. They begin to search for free movies and stumble upon Valpo's new free movie streaming website, where you get unlimited free access to recent movies like Despicable Me 2 and Jobs at the tips of your fingers. So if you're feeling bored, then don't wait. Grab some friends, find a seat, and enjoy a movie on movies.valpo.edu.
And now Andrew joins us for a final look at your Storm Shield forecast. Andrew?
Thanks, Will. We're going to get right to it now at the Election Day forecast here. We're going to see temperatures, sunny conditions, 72 degrees for Election Day tomorrow. Polls open at 6 a.m. and they close at 6 p.m. here in Northwest Indiana. Your 7-day forecast, though, we're going to see this warm trend continue through Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Middle 70s on Wednesday. That's when we could have a chance to break a record. And Friday, though, we will have a cold front coming through, and that's going to cool us back down. And we'll see temperatures returning back towards normal by the time we get into Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. So again, like I was saying, we do have a chance to reach that record by the time we get into Sunday.
Okay, so it sounds like if we can make it past Friday, it's still sunny after that.
It's still sunny, yes.
Okay, well that's great. Well, for all of us here at VUTV, thank you so much for joining us this evening. We will have a YouTube cast this Wednesday, another show for you to tune into and check out. For Andrew, Maria, myself, and Jordan, thanks again for watching.